Aquarius, welcome to your mid-September 2021 General Tarot Update. It's Rena here. That's funny. 3 major arcana cards. Temperance, High Priestess, and the Lover's card. The heart of the matter is the Page of Pentacles. This is a card of a message that may be coming to you of a practical nature. So a job offer, a money that is coming to you. This is considered like a little lump sum of money. This is the card of the student. So maybe word about receiving financial aid, like a grant or something like that. But even having begun a new job, I guess that would be possible as well. In the past position, we have the Temperance card. It's interesting because you're coming off of 2 full moons in your sign, in addition to having Jupiter and Saturn retrograding in your sign. So the first house for you is very loaded, and what that can mean, and of course I'm just talking in general, your chart may not reflect that completely, but it is all in your sign. And what that can mean is that there are a lot of changes that have happened and a lot to come. And the first house can be the body. So Temperance can be maybe you're balancing things a little bit more. Maybe you were a little bit too indulgent in some way, and now you're the Page of Pentacles, maybe you're starting some kind of diet. I like to say eating style rather than diet, to make it sound like, oh, you're just going to do it short term. I mean that you're overhauling your diet, that you're overhauling the way that you move your body, even starting some kind of new program in that sense. And that the Temperance card can even be, to me, like, think about the temperance movement. Of course, maybe Americans would be more familiar with that in the late 1800s and the early 1900s, of alcohol reformation, even before Prohibition. But there were a lot of people who spoke out against that. So maybe you've tempered, but that's not the only habit. I mean, it could be anything that you've been doing to the extreme. And the fact that the angel has 1 foot in the water, to me, really brings the spiritual into it. And sure enough, for the higher message, we have the High Priestess. And the High Priestess is about going within. Be still and know. Sometimes people, when they get involved in spirituality, they're looking outside of themselves. Not just, you could just say, oh yeah, to the priest or the pastor or something like that. But no, it could be to the guru. It could be new agey. It could be to somebody on YouTube that you follow. And that can be very inspirational, but ultimately you have to walk your own path. And sometimes what those people speak as their truth, that might not resonate with you. And I feel like it's interesting because the Page of Pentacles is the need for something very grounded, and the angel has 1 foot on land as well. So even spirituality can be practical. It doesn't have to be out there that you neglect this physical world that we are inhabiting. And maybe it's kind of like an adjustment for you in some way, that if you have felt ungrounded, that this is a chance for you to get balanced. What crosses you is the Four of Swords, Aquarius, and you are swords. And one of the features of air signs is having a very strong intellect, you know, especially a sign like Aquarius. You might have a scientific mind. You might have a very, you know, might be very mechanical because your ruler Uranus is connected to technology, and you just might, you know, be the engineer type of person. Who knows? But you also have a very intuitive mind, and the intuition is not necessarily rational or linear. So it's about, we have to honor that part of ourselves, I feel, at least. And this, the non-linear means that time is not part of the, you know, situation. So in other words, if you're somebody who believes, and I don't think this is necessarily true of a lot of Aquarians, but some may believe, especially if you're watching a tarot reading, you probably are not like this, but some people are very scornful of things that are not part of the 3D reality, and that's all that they can, that they respect in terms of information. Whereas when you are able to be still and know, you're able to access a part of yourself, your higher self, which is not connected to the third dimensions, actually connected to source energy at all times. And it's almost like having a satellite in, you know, in the spiritual sky that you can beam down information from. But also the be still part is important. And, you know, air signs tend to be very social and outside of yourself. And this is about stopping the outer chatter and tuning in, resting, even just physical resting with the Four of Swords. So maybe you are just so committed in various things that you're involved with in the world that you don't have time to you know, meditate, or you don't think you have time to meditate, and you have to really question your schedule, your obligations, you know, what it is that you do, because you could be not accessing this guidance that could help you so immensely. What is coming in is a Four of Cups. This is a card of dissatisfaction with the way things are. And that is actually a very good thing, because it can lead to a person not just sticking with what they have. One of the things that a fixed sign like Aquarius has to guard against is inertia, from kind of like the same old patterns, or, you know, not choosing new behaviors, getting in a rut in a certain sense. Another interpretation of this card is, to me, like a stable, well, they said something, yeah, I think like a stabilizing emotion, or maybe somebody that you're connecting with who is very has a very stabilizing effect on your emotions. So I suppose that's always possible as well. But let's just use this as an example. I've been getting like these people getting sober, and I swear it's not like I'm trying to preach at anybody, but sometimes that is what's happening. let's say you have recently gotten sober and this has affected you positively in terms of your financial or your employment opportunities and all that stuff. But now it is making you aware of what is not, what you're not happy with, which is part of that journey. And I would call it part of a spiritual journey, because you're seeing that, there is some kind of area in your life, or maybe it's multiple areas, where you were using an intoxicant to try to, make everything okay. And it just, now that you don't have that, it just makes you even more aware of how much you don't like that area. And that could be a relationship too, for sure. Cups are about emotions, so it could be somebody in your life. And the Page of Pentacles can be hearing from someone, especially an earth sign. So what we're talking about is Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, maybe an old flame, because we do have a Mercury retrograde towards the end of September that can bring people from the past back, and this is in Libra, so it's even more a possibility. However, the shadow period is in that middle of the month. Starts in the middle of the month, or actually, as I record this, it's already in the shadow period, and I'm not yet in the middle of the month, so oh well. So that can still bring up the same sort of situation. And the outcome, for some people, they may go after that because this might be the true love of their life. This is a card, I think I said before, is connected to Gemini, and it's a card of choice. And so Gemini is a double sign. It's, the symbol of Gemini is like, it looks like a Roman numeral 2, so it's kind of like, choosing, duality, and it's also a card of intimacy. So if you have met someone, and pages can be like that initial stage, maybe there's that sense of like, it's showing you what the potential can be for relationships. I think that even when somebody has an affair, sometimes if that relationship doesn't last, they can still see what is lacking in their primary relationship, and that can help them to leave that relationship so that they can find who they really want and who the other person really wants. They can find who they need. Okay, well, that's what I have for you, Aquarius. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.